Fucking yer. What is up, everybody? Today we are ranking and doing a tier list of all Ocarina of Time dungeons, and I brought a friend. Yer? Ice Dog?
Beans, what up? I'm Ice Dog, aka Icy. Icy Ramen is the old name.
Yo, Icy here is also an editor on the YouTube, so make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, run it up, it helps us both. We recently played Ocarina of Time. We love Ocarina of Time. We think it's the best Zelda game of all time, so I think it's time to rank the dungeons. We're going to be going from worst to best, and on the tier list from D tier, C tier, B tier, A tier, S tier. And starting off with the worst, my opinion, is the Water Temple. I know that is a very cold take. I know that is an extremely, extremely cold take. But everything that you hear online is correct. This temple sucks. It's annoying. The rooms are boring, tedious, so annoying. I understand that the 3DS version made it better with the iron boots changed to a item slot and not an equipment slot, but even with that, it's still bad. The rooms are slow paced. Fighting underwater is not fun when you have to do it. Keys are meticulously placed in places to annoy the player and to make it obtuse as fuck. It is not a good experience in my opinion. It's long. Changing the water level takes a lot of time. It's not very fun. I just don't find it very fun. I think it's a very cold take to say that's the worst. Icy, do you agree?
Yawn. I mean, how many times have you heard it before? The Water Temple sucks. It's bad. You've heard it a million times before. Is it a shocker? However, though, Water Temple has one of the most iconic mid-bosses in Zelda history.
It does.
Dark Link. Dark Link is by far one of the best mid-bosses you can really encounter in the game.
It is the diamond in the rough.
The quintessential boss of a mid-boss dungeon. It's so beautiful. That room is so epic. Water Temple definitely has one of the top vibes in the game. I like the music. The aesthetic is cool. How can this not be bad? Well, it is bad. Just as he said, keys are annoying. Water level, changing rooms.
It's just not fun.
It's just a chat tour. And then, oh my goodness, iron boot management. You see, Ocarina of Time, you have to toggle over your items to keep switching iron boots off, iron boots on, so forth. So it just becomes tedious.
It's just not very fun.
It's just not fun.
Second to last, in my opinion, is the Gerudo Training Grounds. Again, these rooms are just not very fun, in my opinion. It is a key gathering marathon. But so many rupees, so many silver rupees, so many booby traps. It's just not very fun. It's annoying. It's long, and worst of all, the reward for it is just so bad. The ice arrows are trash. I skip this every time I play it. This temple is not good. It is not worth. I know that it's may not be counted as a dungeon to a lot of people, and I understand that. If you don't know much about the Gerudo Training Grounds, you don't really need to get too acquainted with it. It's not worth your time, in my opinion. It is a slog. Maybe it would be worth doing if the reward was worth it, but to me it is just not. The ice arrows are not needed whatsoever. They don't really provide anything to the game. I skip this every single time. I don't think it's good. What do you got to say about that? I mean, it's just so skippable.
I mean, you should have skipped it. If you somehow explored the game and found this, I'm sorry for you. But this is a very forgettable place. You don't really need it. It shouldn't be in the game. It's just useless, honestly. It's ultimately just, I don't consider this a dungeon because it's just you don't need it. The reward doesn't do anything for you ever. The ice arrows are just completely wasted.
They could be cool. I feel like no Zelda game ever gets ice arrows right, really.
It should be a simple concept. You use it to freeze things. You can freeze water.
The only game that I think got ice arrows correct, and it's unfortunately Majora's Mask.
Boo!
Because you can actually freeze water
to
make platform.
Freeze the water to go on the platform, which is how it should be used.
It should be. You should get the ice arrows in the ice cavern and then use them in the water temple. That's what it should be. But I digress. missed opportunity there. But anyway, continuing on with our last dungeon in D tier is Jabu Jabu. Jabu Jabu is awful. It is so annoying dealing with Rudo, trying to carry her around all the time, figuring out which hole to fall through, dealing with those fucking jellyfish and those weird tongue things. Jabu Jabu is not a good time. Also, just the vibes and aesthetic are just gross looking. Just not a good time, man. I would much rather do pretty much any other dungeon. It's just annoying, not fun. The only thing that I like about this dungeon is the final boss. I think the boss is at least a challenge because Baronade is so aggressive. I do like the fact that they actually made like an aggressive boss for once. Fighting him recently was actually pretty engaging and pretty cool compared to the rest of the child dungeons. Goma and Dodongo really not challenging the player whatsoever. This is at least like a decent difficulty to send off the Child Link section. You have like that weird octopus thing that follows you around that circle with the spikes on it, and then you have Baronade. At least this dungeon provides a little bit of a combat challenge. I just wish that the puzzles and the escort mission was a little bit more fun and engaging to the player, but overall this dungeon's ass. It's ass.
It's gross. It's just gross. I don't really remember talking about it too much. That being like, it's just filthy. This like Jabu Jabu's mouth. It's just an annoying dungeon. I fucking hate this place. You have to escort Rudo around. It's electrical tentacles that fucking attack you in this place. I mean, honestly, also the boss is really cool. Unfortunately, this trope got spanned later on with this boss, with the boomerang tentacle boss. You encounter it before.
I don't give Baronade flack for that because it was like original to that. Like I will give Cali Demos flack for copying Baronade.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like at the time, like that was original at the time.
Yeah, I mean, like you know, Breath of the Wild started open worlds. It did start it, so it did cause that trend of games to. This did cause a trend. Unfortunately, it's not its fault, but they just started overusing it. But it's so cool for what it is originally. Being said though, the mini boss of this dungeon, the one you go around, and you have to chase the octopus in the back. It's really not.
You can one shot it with the Deku. You can one shot it with the Deku stick.
Yeah, the Deku stick is.
Now the average person probably doesn't know that, and the casual player is probably chasing them around. It can
be annoying to you chasing that thing around casually, though.
I think it's a cool, like, obviously, like, progression throughout the game, like, needs to get harder. I do like the fact that Jabu Jabu is harder than Dodongo's Cavern, because Dodongo's Cavern is just so bare bones easy. Like, the difficulty from the Deku Tree to Dodongo's Cavern is negligible, and Jabu Jabu, I'm glad that it took a step up.
Yeah, this is the final kid dungeon you go through.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that, like, this would be, like, a hard challenge.
Right, at least like combat wise, like I think that's pretty cool. But that's about the only redeeming quality for Jabu Jabu. On to C tier, I have the Ice Cavern. I don't necessarily hate the Ice Cavern. I think it has cool music, and I like the fact that it's like kind of chill and kind of mysterious. It has that weird eerie vibe, and I like the lore behind it. Like you see King Zora frozen in this red ice that you don't know about, and you have to like kind of figure out how to save him. I think that's kind of cool, but this honestly has two problems, and one is ice bats being real annoying. Just getting frozen over and over is mad annoying, and the fact that you have to keep shuffling your bottles around, knowing when and when you should get the blue fire, how many do you need, the fact that you probably by this point in the game really need multiple bottles to do this effectively. All those things don't make a fun dungeon. Also, the final quote-unquote boss just being one Wolfos is just not good. Like, you need more of a challenge for this. You've already encountered at this point in the game multiple Wolfos at one time. The first room of the Forest Temple is a room with 2 of them, so this boss just being one of them is just like so weird that they would just go down in difficulty. Like, this should have had like some kind of ice monster boss of some kind to really give it a good send-off. This is a C tier dungeon to me, but I don't think it's that far away from being like an A tier if it just had like little tweaks to me, because it has a cool vibe and some cool lore to it, but at the end of the day it's just kind of mid.
Yeah, this dungeon to me doesn't, again, it's almost kind of similar to like Training Grounds. Like, I don't consider it a dungeon.
It's a mini dungeon.
Because one, there's not really a boss. You just use it to simply get blue fire so you can melt King Zora King.
And you get the iron boots.
And you get the worst item in the game with it. It's, it's quick, it's easy. Honestly, the best part about this dungeon is too, the ice physics aren't bad.
No, they're not.
They're actually really good.
No, they're not.
The ice mechanic also, the only thing that makes it better, like he says, the ice keys. Those ice keys that just freeze you.
Getting frozen is really annoying.
And there's those blowing wind spirit ice things that come around too. Also, ice sliding puzzles. This has an ice block puzzle in it.
I don't think it's that bad.
I don't think it's bad, but like at the same time, it's just not fun. It's just not fun. Nobody wants to slide a block of ice back and forth and get the right thing. Like, it's not bad, but it's just...
I don't think it's like that bad of a puzzle. I just think like the reward for doing it is just really bad. Like, mini dungeon, like, at least you get the iron boots, but they're just not really exciting to get. And that Wolfos at the end just sucks. That room where the Wolfos is at is so cool. It's so like cosmic and shit, and there's just one Wolfos in there. Why?
That's this dungeon. It's just not exciting. It's just not exciting.
It's a real missed opportunity to me. Like, it easily could be A or S if it just like had some little tweaks to me. Moving on, I have the Dongo's Cavern. The Dongo's Cavern is just plain too easy. It's just too easy. It's not challenging. It's not long. It's not engaging enough. And I do think that's also a missed opportunity because it's honestly pretty cool. There's really cool lore. I love the Gorons in Ocarina of Time. They have awesome lore, awesome personality. They tell you so much about them. They tell you that the Dongo's like, there and eating their food or whatever, taking their rocks and shit, and they're scared to go in there. And this is like some like test your might moment that Link has to prove to Darunia that he's a real man and all that. He names his son after you for doing all this. Like, it's really cool. And then you get in there and it's just kind of a nothing burger. King Dodongo himself is like laughably easy, laughably just really bad. I love the aesthetic though. Again, these C tier dungeons to me are just kind of missed opportunities. That's really why they're so low compared to the rest, is like they have the groundwork for a cool dungeon and then they just kind of miss the mark on some shit. This has the vibe, this has the look. Like, even when you walk in and you see that skull of a Dodongo, it really like sets the tone, and then there's just kind of nothing in it to really interact with. I like the Lizalfos fights. Those are pretty cool. That's a cool challenge, I guess. But they have a very simple attack pattern that they just copy over and over and over. So if you learn how to block their attack once, you can block it every single time. So it's still not that big of a challenge. There's no like interesting puzzle at all anywhere. The best room in the dungeon is where you drop the bomb and you blow up all the stairs. That's about it. Other than that, this dungeon's just, it's kind of a breeze. You can literally beat it in about 10 minutes. It's really short, really easy. The dungeon doesn't live up to the lore, which I think is a big miss here.
Yeah. The bombs itself is an anomaly. Why this is a dungeon item, because you fight those little baby Dodongos in there, and they don't lose to bombs. They lose by hitting their tail. So then, all of a sudden, King Dongo, you throw bombs in his mouth. All of a sudden, it doesn't match at all.
You should like hit the Dongo's tail.
You should hit his tail, which maybe you put a bomb in there or something like that. Once you hit the tail, and then that sparks it together. But it's just laughably easy. The aesthetic is very, very awesome. I love the coolness dungeon. It's like some fossilized looking Dodongo that passed away going to.
It's peak.
It's peak, and yeah, like you said, there is one only iconic puzzle, if you want to call it that, where you just simply drop the bombs in the eyes of the fossilized thing and then summons the stairs.
There's that. That's pretty cool. I was talking about like there's that room where like a staircase is like encased in bombs, and you gotta put a bomb like right in the middle of it, and like blows it off.
A chain effect.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Don't they like this dungeon? Honestly, is coming after the Deku Tree. Definitely a little letdown overall.
I don't think it like teaches the player enough things or like engages with the player enough.
Doesn't teach you anything new, nothing cool. You know what a bomb does. You know a kaboom.
Yeah.
It doesn't really engage in much. At least the Deku Tree, which we'll get to, is a little something better than that.
I agree. Next up, I have the bottom of the well. The bottom of the well, honestly, is so cool. I wish it was connected to the Shadow Temple. The problem is 90% of it is just optional. For some reason, you get the Lens of Truth so early on in the dungeon, quote unquote, and then you can just leave. You can just bounce, and 90% of the dungeon is just like scatullas. Like, you don't even need a key to get the Lens of Truth. You don't need the map, the compass, or nothing. You can just walk in there, find Dead Hand, and bounce. And to me, that's just such a missed opportunity. It doesn't really feel earned. You get the Lens of Truth, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'm good, but there's 90% of the dungeon you haven't even seen yet. It's just, why? Like, I feel like they should have locked that way later in the dungeon and not made it so easily accessible, instead of just locking all the scatullas as like the main progression items in the dungeon. It just feels kind of awkward. To me, I'm not a huge completionist. I don't feel like getting all 100 scatullas every time I play the game. I don't always find it worth it to me. So, as somebody who is not a completionist, I definitely just get the Lens of Truth and bounce in the in the bottom of the well. But I love the lore. I love using the Song of Storms and that whole paradox to even enter here. I love how eerie it is and how it connects to the Shadow Temple. But at the end of the day, it's just like 5 to 10 minutes and you can get out of there. That's just not enough to get to the final dungeon item. Like, that should be way later. Finding Dead Hand should be way later and much more earned to me. That just kind of ruins the whole point of it. If they actually did what I said and put it at the end, I think this would be like an S tier area in my opinion, because I love the Shadow Temple, by the way. So this just kind of being like a mini Shadow Temple, like a kid version of the Shadow Temple, basically, definitely a huge missed opportunity in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't know why this was disconnected like that from the Shadow Temple when this should have just been inside the Shadow Temple. You should have just encountered this naturally by playing the Shadow Temple, because you get the Shadow Temple's item, well, one out of the two items, which is the Lens of Truth, which is the main item. You do get the hover boots later on, but this item literally helps you into the Shadow Temple. It's so cool how you can see fake walls, decipher fake chests. And it's such a cool mechanic, but you just get it in a well randomly. And the well itself is super short. It just feels so awkward. You really fight this weird boss that you don't know where it came from. You fight him. It's pretty cool, actually. Very creepy. And then you just bounce and you come back as an adult Golden Shadow Temple. It just feels like just a missed opportunity, like you said. Just a awkward dungeon that's just there that you move on. You only have to do the optional stuff in the place, which makes up 90% of the dungeon is optional. So it's just a waste, honestly. This could have been just super epic. And like you said, this really could have been an S tier place if this was all linked together with the Shadow Temple.
Absolutely. And then the end off C tier, I have the Fire Temple. honestly, I used to love this as a kid, and then playing it again recently, like, I just found this temple super annoying. And it's just booby trap to all hell, firewalls, rolling boulders. It's just annoying. Like, it's just traps. There's really no puzzles at all. There's no satisfaction of figuring anything out. The closest thing to a puzzle in this dungeon is like hitting a switch to disable some fire so then you could climb a fence. Like, it's no puzzles. It's really just dodging boulders, dodging lava, dodging firewalls. There's really no real progression. Like, there's no earned puzzle. Like, there's nothing that you can really figure out to be like, you know, feel good about doing anything. It's just like an Indiana Jones type, just run through, dodge a bunch of shit. It's very awkward and just kind of annoying. You're getting hit a lot by just random bullshit. It's just such a drastic difference from the rest of the temples where you have to like backtrack and there's some grandiose like scheme going on and rooms connect to each other. In this temple, there's really none of that going on. And the hammer, honestly, is kind of boring. And again, this is a kind of missed opportunity to me because I love Volvagia. I love the lore of Volvagia. That would be the only thing I could possibly hear to bring this up is Volvagia himself and the lore behind Volvagia. Other than that, this temple is just annoying. It's not fun. If you, for some reason, miss a key, if you miss a Goron, it is so punishing to try to get back to it in this temple. Yeah, I just don't find it very engaging or very fun to go through, in my opinion. What about you?
I find this temple to be pretty okay, honestly. It feels fine. It's just, honestly, like you said, not a lot of puzzles, not really much to it. The only puzzle you want to call is like fucking firewalls that are invisible that you have to maze through.
Like, once you... That room where there's the firewalls, you realize that half of that you can't get to yet. Like, you walk all the way through it, and you realize you're just at, like, some invisible wall, and you can't get through it. So then you have to go all the way back, backtrack more, and realize you probably missed some other way, missed some other go on, because there's a locked door in that middle section that unlocks that second half. It's just so annoying. Like, you're dodging just so much shit. It's really just like more of a maze. Like, it's really just like a Indiana Jones.
And then the dungeon on itself, the hammer is kind of useless, except for one thing. How do I describe it? It shouldn't be. One, you're supposed to use the hammer to fight a mid-boss, which is some type of circling vortex dancer. You're supposed to use the hammer to kind of get him, but you can hook shot him, and sort of you don't.
Yeah, you don't need a hammer for that.
Hammer, you just need a hammer for simply hitting switches. That's really what it is, and for an exploit in the game later on when you fight Dark Link, if you know, you know. But yeah, Volvagia itself is the biggest redeeming factor about this dungeon. Talk about boss carrying hard. It is Volvagia.
The lore of the Fire Temple.
The lore is so good.
It carries hard.
The aesthetic, the lore, like this.
Darunia carries hard.
I mean, when I think of Fire Temples, you think of Ocarina of Time Fire Temple, though. Despite it being low, you think of that. Like, that is the Fire Temple, but
it's just not fun. At the end of the day, like, I just don't find it fun. And I think that's the worst thing. Anything in a game could be just not fun for the player to go through. Obviously, fun is subjective, but me going through a bunch of booby traps, not very rewarding in a Zelda game, in my opinion. Okay, we are actually going to skip the B tier because, in my opinion, all of these temples that are left are extremely good to great, and I don't really find anything in this game actually mid. I think there is a sizable gap between everything that we've seen so far and what is left in the game. To start A tier, I have Inside the Deku Tree. The Deku Tree to me is like the best introduction dungeon in any Zelda game. I think this is like the best first dungeon. It is a fantastic way to introduce a player to so many mechanics. It is crafted in such a gorgeous way. The enemies are mostly enemies that don't move, like Deku Babas, the Deku Shrubs that shoot the Deku Nuts, because you don't want to introduce the player to like too many moving enemies. Like even down to the smallest of details, they crafted it for a beginner, for Kid Link. It is perfectly handcrafted. Even like the enemies on the wall, you can shoot them off the wall with a slingshot. Like it's just a great introduction. You're gonna teach the player about like lighting torches, moving blocks, water mechanics, breaking your fall, jump slashing to break webs. They throw a lot at you. Even like there's even a puzzle you have to like dive under the water to change the water level to get under the spiky wall. Like there's so many different puzzles, even though that they're all very easy. They teach the player very well. If you are judging this temple based on it being a introduction and being the first temple, obviously it's supposed to be easy, but I think it accomplishes everything that it was trying to accomplish. Even Goma is easy, it's cool. Like I have no problem with the Deku Tree whatsoever. I think it is an extremely awesome dungeon. I think it's great.
It's just it's one of the most perfect starts to any game ever in history. It really is, because it's just such a great introduction, like you said, to all the mechanics they teach you as a kid, just how to play the game. And that being said, too, also the aesthetic is just awesome. You're inside the Deku Tree. You're literally like helping the Deku Tree fight against Goma. Like this is just super awesome, super cool. I really can't say much about it that you haven't said already. It's just
peak.
It's just a peak dungeon. I mean, you've said it all pretty much about it. I don't know what else to say about it. Goma, yeah, Goma is easy. Goma is iconic with the eye, but it's a great Goma fight and one of the better Goma fights too. Because this Goma fight is just iconic.
That's the Goma fight.
It's the Goma. I don't want to hear Marble Goma. I don't hear a fucking thing about this Goma, that Goma, Fire Goma, Flying Goma, Electric Goma. This is Goma.
Marble Goma's pretty cool. Marble Goma's kind of sick.
It's kind of sick.
Not a lot.
You can thank this thing for paving the road.
But yeah, Deku Tree's goated. I don't quite understand the whole thing of him dying after you saved the curse or got rid of the curse. He just dies anyway. That's kind of
Ganon kind of just tortures him. Like Ganon's like, okay, fuck you. You helped. You saved him.
He's just dead anyway.
But Ganon's like, I'll still kill him.
Also, he's like the father of the Kokiri, but yeah, we'll skip that.
We'll skip all that. We just burned Granddad. Granddad did.
Next, I have Ganon's Tower. This would be S tier plus if it wasn't for that Zelda escape section. Honestly, if you didn't have to do the ice part, like the ice cavern-esque part, and the Zelda escape sequence, I think this is the best dungeon in the game, but those two things hold it down. This is a fantastic ending to the game. I think it is the best way that it used the whole idea of like going back and using everything that the player has gotten throughout the game, showing you, proving your mastery over your whole inventory, and challenging you with the hardest of puzzles from each of the temples or whatever. That's really cool. Obviously, the Ganon fight is absolute peak. It's cinema. It's amazing. The lore is amazing. It looks sinister as fuck. Climbing his tower at the end, the whole Oregon scene, it's awesome. It's peak. So close to being like the best Ganon tower ever. It's amazing. Like it's like I can't wait to fight Ganon every time I play this game. Like I can't wait to get a Ganon tower. I often end up like skipping side content at the end of the game just so I can go do this part because it's so much fun. It's peak. Ganon tower is awesome. Playing tennis with him can be a little bit on the easier side, but that end fight is challenging. He deals a lot of damage. Yeah, there's just nothing else to say. It's peak.
It truly is peak. It truly is cinematically one of the still epic, coolest fights in Ganon. This dungeon itself, like you said, the Zelda escort mission, if you want to call it that.
It's so bad.
You have to wait on her to get down there, even though you may reach it, and then fight off enemies. Like, it's really bad.
She turns around every 2 steps.
She will look around and wait, then go back around until nothing's happening.
Why does she get encased in fire all the time? Like, she can't stop that?
She's so useless for that part. I don't understand. She, quote unquote, escaping, but Ganon still traps her, and she can't use her magic.
You like how?
I don't understand how.
You can like seal him, but like a ring of fire is like, nope.
Also, bitch, where'd you Sheik? Can't you just go back to Sheik? And go back do that?
Like,
go on Ninja Sea and teleport what you were doing?
Like, see, that sequence is so annoying. It's so stupid.
It's so awful.
It takes me out. It takes me out. Like, I haven't needed you the whole game, bitch.
No, I have. You played some. Thank you for playing the little harp songs of Sheik. That was very useful. I'll give you that.
I haven't needed you at all,
but
bro.
You don't need nothing else. Also, like you said, no one bring up, emphasize the ice room. Why is it the ice cavern when it's clearly the water temple element? Why am I doing water temple puzzles?
See, like,
that's so random.
You have to do a fucking another sliding ice block,
and that's where it gets worse. That's where I have a problem. That's where I'm like, oh hell no! You did all this for me to do another fucking sliding block. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be S tier, but those two things, like you said, do weigh it down, and now you understand why. But also, you can just get the double defense, but you probably may not have known that, actually, playing this game the first time, that there's a fairy behind. Once you get the gauntlets, you get, like, the golden gauntlets.
You have to go out of your way to go explore over there.
Yeah, you have to go, because it's blocked off, but you have to know to go back and pick up that boulder.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a lot, trivial going through.
Ganon hits like a truck. That last fight,
Even do some double defense, he still can do some damage. So.
Yeah, like, I lost a fairy. I also didn't realize in that Ganon fight, like, I had the big Goron sword, but, like, once you have to go pick up the Master Sword, I didn't realize you have to use the Master Sword at that point.
Oh, yeah. You have to.
Like, once you pick it back up, like, that's the only thing that hurts him.
Yeah, because you got to now see him away. But you can still hit him with the big Goron sword, but it actually won't do anything.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was literally hitting him for like 5 minutes, like, what the fuck? Why is it doing anything? And I was like, then I had to switch back. So that was just dumb on me, but that fight's still epic, though. So moving on to S tier, I will say there are 3 dungeons left. I think these 3 dungeons are interchangeable. I think you can have any of them as the top. It won't bother me at all. So take this with a grain of salt. All 3 of these dungeons are peak, in my opinion. I think these 3 are by far the highlights of the game. They're the best parts of the game, easily. So if I don't put your favorite number 1, don't get too mad. I still think it's peak. Next up, we have the Spirit Temple starting off S tier. I know Spirit Temple is peak, okay? But there are some things that hold it back compared to the other 2 that I'll get to. Highlights of the Spirit Temple, obviously the idea of using both links is awesome. I wish more dungeons did this. That's very unique, very awesome. Like, I wish the Shadow Temple did that with the well and the Shadow Temple. Like, that's awesome. Fighting Iron Knuckle is peak. Those fights are awesome. The whole lore with the twins is great. The vibes is great. It also feels very rewarding getting to the Spirit Temple. You have to do a lot. You have to do the Gerudo Fortress. You have to go through the sand. Like, there's a lot getting there. Way more than, like, the other temples to me. And, like, that's really cool. Like, it feels earned getting there. And, yeah, like, the whole switching mechanic is really awesome. I think the kid section is a little lackluster. It's just not a lot to it. I definitely think the adult half is a lot better. The light puzzles are kind of mid. They're kind of mid. Also, the smile on the sun's faces in there, a little weird. There's not a lot of puzzles, honestly. Like, it's not that challenging. It's honestly pretty quick and easy. I think this dungeon gets carried more by the idea, like the ideas of it, and less about the each individual rooms being fun. Like, once you get past like the idea that, okay, I did this as a kid and I'm here as an adult, I think that kind of falls short compared to the next two dungeons. On like a room to room basis, you're using the mirror shield, which is always just kind of mid to me. Light puzzles are not hard at all. It's literally just shining the light onto something. There's nothing to really figure out. When you have to move the giant mirrors, it is extremely obvious where to move them. Like, there will be a giant gaping hole in the wall and you just shine it there. Like, it's not very like challenging or intuitive, but like it's still fun to do. Like, there's still a vibe. There's nothing annoying, there's nothing lame, there's nothing like hindering my process through the temple. There's just cooler things. I think there's just more fun to be had in the other dungeons on a room to room basis. Light puzzles aren't great. Moving those sun blocks aren't great. Like, it's, some rooms are just kind of mid. Like, I think it S tier idea, kind of like mid on the fun scale to me. What do you think?
I think this dungeon is executed so well. I don't think it needs to be hard, or really can be easy, and it's still great. I personally love the actual light puzzles in there. Yes, they're simple, they're obvious, but it's just so cool. The aesthetic is so awesome. I like the fact that you have to shine light and break that Medusa thing's face and
that specific thing, that's a creative way to do it. Like, that was creative.
It's just creative to do it. I think they've done it really creative. I love the fact you said, like, it says you use this, the iconic, you go as a kid and an adult. The kid section is a little lackluster because the kid doesn't have a lot, Kid Link doesn't have a lot of too many great tools. Like Adult Link will have access to Mirror Shield and Hookshot, like, have way more things. That being said, it was just so cool to go back and forth. Twin Rova, at first I never really liked this boss, but playing it again, they cooked. I like this boss a lot. It can be a little annoying to aim at her sometimes, and they're moving a little differently, but I think it's such a cool boss, and I like when they transform together and they form as a phase 2.
Lore carries hard.
This is the one of the best lore-wise dungeons in the game. It's super carried by lore, and it's so good. I don't care.
The lore is amazing. Yeah, I mean, the whole like story in Naboru was cool.
Naboru getting trapped as one, and you had to. She went back and gave, it was like, go back in time and stop this, and you had to save her. You went back, it was just cool.
Everything with Iron Knuckles peak.
Iron Knuckle, what can I say? Honestly, peak. One of the best Zelda bosses. It's really
Iron Knuckles peak.
It's really amazing. Definitely better than, yeah. So, like you said, there's 2 more dungeons that are just, well, I agree, they're well above this, just edging out, because there's just some more cooler things. So,
like, to me, I have the Shadow Temple over the Spirit Temple because I think that this dungeon is just very fun. I just honestly had a blast doing it. I think this dungeon is on the shorter side. That's like my biggest flaw with it. But on a room-to-room basis, I think this dungeon is just really, really fun. You're going through this torture chamber, like, supposedly. Like, there's so much lore to that and so many like fan theories to dive into on that. Like, the aesthetic is top tier. It's so like eerie and like spooky, and I just feel like on a room-to-room basis, it's just very fun. You're throwing bombs into moving pots like you're playing basketball. You're finding silver rupees in like pretty creative ways compared to the rest of the dungeons that we've seen so far. Like, there will be invisible spikes on the ground, and you have to find like a creative way to hook shot around them to get to them. I think that was pretty cool. You have that like Star Wars trash compactor room where you have to like dent fire to burn the wood. Bongo Bongo is iconic and awesome. He might be on the easier side, but he is hilarious. He's funny. He's menacing. He has just his look. Looks like a fucking boss. Like, he is sick looking. He's awesome. This temple is just really fun. There's nothing annoying. There's no backtracking. It is extremely linear. There's no overarching thing. But I think on a room-to-room basis, it is very fast-paced. It is, you know, you're not doing anything obtuse or anything annoying or anything. You're just go in the room, do a fun room, kill awesome enemies. Like, the enemies in this dungeon are really cool. You're finding those, like, skeleton swordsmen. That fairy boat ride is awesome. You're fighting those on the boat ride. This time, like, it's just fun. It's fast-paced. It's like the fastest-paced adult dungeon in the game by far. It's really quick. I beat it in like under 30 minutes. You just get in, do some fun shit, and get out. And I think like that was a blast. I do wish it was longer. I wish it was connected to the well, like we said earlier. But at the end of the day, like it was just a good time. There's nothing slowing you down. The hover boots, probably a little bit underutilized. You honestly barely use them at all. And when you do need them, the game tells you to use them. Like, there was that one room with like a long hallway and there's fans, and you get through it, and at the end there's like some like riddle where it's like, oh, those who wield the boots of whatever can see the secret path. It's like, okay, you just jump over there with the boots. Like, it's nothing crazy. Just a fun dungeon. I just really like it. I just had a great time playing it.
Okay, well, this is where I have to disagree a little bit on some things. Now, I think the lore of this dungeon is awesome. Like you said, it is very short and quick, and you can really just get out and get it in. The puzzles are fun, but honestly, this sort of can be a little annoying to me. I think having to always keep switching on the lens of truth to see invisible blades all the time can get a little annoying. And sometimes the blade hitbox can sort of just fuck you, just keep hitting you.
You just keep them on.
You keep it, but your magic's running low, and if you haven't got double magic, your magic is actually pretty low, so you actually have to manage that and get magic, because you're always looking at every single corner. You have to look at every single wall, because when you're first time playing this, you don't know that this wall's go through. You don't know which wall it is. You're actually falling for fake walls, because you don't realize that that's just a trap. That's not really there. You don't see that chest there. You have to sort of just play around with that, and if you haven't got the upgrade magic, it can be really annoying kind of managing your magic and having to wear the mask all the time. And then the hover boots are not utilized enough at all, but they're also really kind of terrible. They're supposed to be cool, you're supposed to float, but you're like walking on ice in the air. It's very slippery, and you really don't want to wear them either. I don't know how this game messed up boots, but they did.
It's just bare, like, you really
barely.
There's like 3 rooms you need them.
But you don't want to need them. That's the thing, though. I never once put the hover boots on. I'm like, man, why can't I use it more? It's like good. Because if you guys play Master Quest, you use this item a lot, and you start hating it because you're like, this is what they could have made me use it for? It is terrible. It's a nightmare. Win with the hover boots. With spikes, it's just terrible because you're slipping.
Yeah,
you're
in Master Quest, in Master Quest, this dungeon is a lot different. Well, I'm talking about base game.
But they show you the full potential of what the boots could have been, and it's not fun.
I agree. But the dungeon does not use them.
No,
really
the dungeon itself doesn't use them all, so it's kind of to me a little useless item too. They just put in there.
Yeah, you don't.
The lens of truth. Sorry. The Lens of Truth?
Yeah, Lens
of Truth should be the actual item you acquire while playing the dungeon, not the bottom of the well, because that's the item you really use, most importantly. And I will say, though, the high note on the dungeon, too, is Bongo Bongo. Bongo Bongo is iconically one also iconic boss. He's easy, but at the same time, though, he's fun.
He's fun.
He's beating his hands on the drum.
He's peak, bro.
His lore.
He's so
a prisoner. Like, he's
he
so
fucking
good.
ragdolled Sheik and threw him on.
I want a bongo bongo game. I want Zelda bongo bongos. Like, I want
bongo bongos peak.
I want some more of those. So, like, that being said, though, I still think this is an S tier dungeon. I think the Spirit Temple I put over it a little bit, but this.
Understandable.
But that being said, though, this is S tier. This dungeon is still great fun. You will enjoy it.
I give it to you, I guess, if you don't have like the magic upgrade, maybe. But I don't think it drain like the Lens of Truth doesn't drain that slow. Like I never came close to running out of magic ever.
Right, but when you're first playing it, I'm well. It depends, I guess, how you are. But like, I always keep it on just to see every little inch. If you're a completionist, it can be annoying, especially because you're trying to find every single hidden object and a hidden cube.
I don't know where all those Catullus are.
Right.
I'm not judging this on like completionist things.
Right, from that side, this would be a little lower for you because you probably were annoyed unless you had the bubble magic going through it. But
a completionist would already have that.
Would have already got this, so it wouldn't be an issue to you. But if you're just casually playing it, I can see you being a little annoyed.
And to end it all, you already know it's the fucking Forest Temple.
Are you fucking surprised?
It's peak. The music is peak. The atmosphere is peak. The getting the pose are peak. The bow is peak. Outside, inside. The lore is peak. The fact that this is like a gigantic like castle in the forest with that music and those twisted hallways, like they cooked so unbelievably hard. This is arguably the greatest dungeon in the whole franchise. It cooks on every level. On a room-to-room basis, I think it's amazing. Moving those blocks around and that maze was awesome. Finding out, where to twist the hallways. There's that overarching of like, okay, I twist the hallway in here, but I need it straight over here. Like, you have to think multiple rooms at a time, and it's so satisfying when you figure it out.
I can't think of one wrong thing in this dungeon.
The puzzles are fun. That block puzzle setting up the picture of the Poe was awesome. There's like that room where the floor is falling onto you is cool. It's challenging. Like, you can get lost, you can miss a key. The boss key is honestly hidden pretty well because you got to set up the hallway in the right way and jump down at the right time and all that. Like, it's the perfect balance of like challenge without it being frustrating. There's overarching rooms connecting. You go outside and inside. There's cool fights, like 2 wolves at the first room. There's a key in the first room. There's like right off the bat, it just starts cooking. Yeah, absolutely flawless dungeon. From the lore to the boss to the music, it just is unsettling right off the bat. Like, it is the perfect like introduction to being an adult Link. Like, being adult Link, like it just sets the tone.
Yes.
Like, perfect.
It's the first dungeon you encounter as an adult you have to do, and it is so great to start off. How being an adult in the future is, and how it sets a tone for this abandoned castle, you said. This aesthetic. Phantom Ganon is the boss, so you actually technically fight like a Ganon in a way as like the first boss.
Like, it's scary off rip.
Creepy because the music is eerie. The place is abandoned. You meet your friend that you grew up with in the forest, Arya.
Yeah,
she's gone. Like, but you have to figure out.
She's
why.
Like, my people need me. Like, I'm in here.
You see that? Like, they hid there. The lore in that place is crazy, by the way. Ganon just wiped them all out in there.
Like at that Forest Temple's peak, bro.
So there's nothing wrong with it. There's just nothing wrong with it.
No, it's peak.
It's the perfect dungeon.
Like, yeah, that's the highlight of every playthrough.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
You can't say it's too easy because it's the first dungeon as an adult. Yeah, it's supposed to be, but I don't think it is actually. It's just the perfect difficulty, perfect fun gameplay.
Yeah,
this is the pinnacle of Zelda dungeons. They did it Ocarina of Time, for example.
It is. If you guys like the list, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, tell us in the comments what we got right, what we got wrong, and let us know your favorite Ocarina of Time dungeon, and let us know what we should rank next. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Nice.
Fucking yer. Yo, what's up everybody, it's Breetep here. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys like it, subscribe to the channel, and please follow me on Twitch at Breetep Plays Everything if you guys want to see me live. Thank you guys again so much for supporting the channel and watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, man. Peace.
That's a hot take, this the one chip challenge. A days during Ramadan, but that's all you could chew. What's the point of a big mouth to run and all it could do? When the sun rises, unadvised, I say all you can move. When the sun down, I'm unbound, I make all you my food. My rise through a Lola was lies through your molars. Just look in the moon, I let my mark like I'm Stephen, like this night from the tomb.